So welcome to another installment of our virtual spotlight series. This week we're in for kind of a treat. It's a little bit different in terms of what we've done before or heard about before. Typically, of course, as you all know that have joined us, we host a brand, one of our partners, so that they can spotlight various products or maybe a new launch to all of you. This week, we're with Sprayology. So yes, we're focusing on a brand, but the topic is really going to be very interesting. We're going to learn about basically immunity resilience from a professional standpoint with all sorts of data and information. And of course, we'll learn a little bit about Sprayology as well and how all of that ties in. But let me introduce to you Ellie Whalen. She is the CEO and mastermind behind Sprayology. So a little bit about Ellie. She has spent the last 25 years working in marketing, sales, operations, and management with, really cool, innovative, and luxury brands such as Swatch Watch. Okay, I'm sorry, Ellie, I'm not wearing a Swatch Watch.
Right.
Apple, but hey, I wore Swatch Watch like all growing up. But she also was with Christian Dior and, of course, now Sprayology. So as part of the founding Sprayology team in 1999, her fingerprint has been on every single aspect of the brand. Her endless efforts to innovate and have been absolutely paramount in the creation and direction and growth of this company. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it on over to you so that we can learn more about your expertise. And there you go. Hand it on over.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly. What a great introduction. I really appreciate it. And you're being kind saying about 25 years because probably, 25 years with Sprayology almost, and then the previous career. So thank you for that. And I am really excited to talk today because I think it's really an important time. And I will share my screen in a minute. I'm just going to share that I did a PowerPoint, a quick little PowerPoint, nothing fancy, because I do know some people really are visual learners or gain information that way. So I didn't spend a lot of time on the PowerPoint, but just to keep me on track and to give the people who like to see things and hear things what they need. But we are going to talk about the immune system and really things you should and shouldn't do. But first, I will start to share my screen and make sure I get that all ready. And come on. Let's see. Let's go
Got you.
Screen. Awesome. All right, there we go. So as I said, I think it's a really important time, especially coming out of COVID. And we are still dealing with parts of it and things. But I think if you think back personally, I know for me personally, over these last 18 months, I have definitely given serious thought about my health baseline, what I can do better. When you see that many people either ill or, in ICUs or in the hospital, it really does make us think about our bodies and what we can do to support them. And so that gave me a lot of thought, and I had some time during the pandemic to spend kind of digging into it. So when Holly and I were talking about, this today, I said, I really want to talk about a topic because I think it's really important, and I will filter in parts of Sprayology and why we are relevant. But, when you think about your health baseline, the most important part, although there are very many functioning parts that matter, is our immune system. And so we are going to talk about what we should be doing and what we should not be doing to really support our immune system and make it do its best job for us. I'm also going to share my health journey because it really is about improving my immune system and getting healthy. To do that, I'm kind of a definer of things. So I'm going to first define the tasks of the immune system to fight disease-causing germs, pathogens like bacteria, viruses, parasites, fungi, and remove them from the body. This is the job of the immune system. It's also to recognize when harmful substances from the external environments like toxins and different things are trying to get into our body, the immune system is supposed to stop them. And also, if it gets there, work to detoxify them and push them out. And the third is to fight disease-causing changes in the body, such as cancer cells. And these are things that are regularly happening to our body. And I like to think of my immune system as like a wall or a moat around a castle, and I'm the castle. So when, my guard is really up and all the cracks have mortar in them and, I'm really taking good care of it, I'm healthy. But, when we don't take care of our immune system, it really kind of opens us up to the possibility of a breach in our immune system, which leads to illness. It's also good to know what are some things that are just everyday things that weaken our immune system. And what's really interesting, a lot of these spa is already talking about, right? So you're going to really see that throughout the talk, different things we are already seeing and already doing. But I want to get us to think about the next level today as well. So lack of sleep. Look, when your sleep isn't happening, your body doesn't have time to heal, and that includes your immune system. Anxiety, anxiety and stress lower white blood cell count in the body. Low vitamin D, which we've heard a lot about that through COVID. It really came clear how low vitamin D levels are, especially in the US population, for many reasons. The things that deplete them are things we do a lot of. But also just the importance of vitamin D for immune function. Medications, including NSAIDs. I'm going to talk a lot about that today, and I'll define NSAIDs in a minute. Low fruit and veggie intake. We all know antioxidants support the immune system. Eat your fruits, eat your veggies, watch your overall diet. Lack of exercise. And if you're not exercising yet, a little bit really can make a big difference. So even if you start walking just a little each day and walk a little more. My favorite, lack of sex. Actually sex is good for the immune system. You should try to have it at least once a week. It really definitely excites different things in the body that helps your immune system. Smoking both cigarettes and marijuana are a weakening to the immune system. Grief. Grief is a biggie, and a lot of people have experienced a great deal of grief this past year and a half. Some might be a grief from a job. It might be grief from, loss of a business, loss of a family member. There's a lot of different forms of grief that can affect your immune system. Too little time outdoors. I think that's why everyone's so excited to be out again. And drinking too much alcohol. There is a balance to what you put in your body and how it works with your immune system. But I do want to define NSAIDs, which are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. These are medicines that are really widely used for pain, reduce inflammation, to bring down high temperature. And they're the most common and well-known ones, but there are others, are aspirin, ibuprofen, and naproxen. And we will definitely be talking about that. Okay, 6 signs you have a weak immune system. So we defined what immune system, what your immune system does. We've defined triggers that weaken it, but how do you know if yours is weak? It's something we have to get better at listening to our body and paying attention. I think it's important to kind of, we always seem to know how our significant others are doing and our families are doing and our kids and our friends, but we aren't always listening to our own body. And I think that's really important. If your stress level is high, there's a good chance you're eventually going to weaken your immune system. So we see a great deal of hard workers in the spa industry. It's high stress, even though you make it look so easy. And so monitor that, because it really does impact you. Your body just, can take so much. If you have frequent colds, 1 to 3 is normal a year. I actually, I'm not happy with myself if I have more than 1. So tummy trouble, 70% of your digestive system is actually located in your 70% of your immune system is located in your digestive system. So if your tummy's telling you a lot of things, you want to kind of get in tune with what's going on there. And I love this one. this is a very measurable thing to see how your body is functioning. So if your wounds are slow to heal, sorry, I felt like an allergy sneeze coming on, so I'm going to spray it away. Slow to heal. So say you have you bite your tongue, or you have a little sore, or you get a little cut gardening on your finger or something. These should resolve themselves pretty quickly. If they don't, it's your immune system not functioning at its best. Frequent infections, this is important, obviously, to monitor. And if you feel tired all the time, again, listen to your body. It's telling you some things. Okay. I'm going to spend a little time talking about myself now and my health journey. This slide doesn't really say much, but it's there. So I actually, in high school, I was an athlete at a young age, and I was 5'10" in 6th grade. So I was a pretty sought after athlete of the day at the time. I did a whole bunch of sports. I had really bad knee issues. In 7th, 8th grade, I was put on 12 to 16 aspirin a day by my orthopedic doctor to try to regrow the cartilage in my knees that was gone. I was kind of bone on bone. Taking 12 to 16 aspirin a day regularly, and then started to have bleeding in my stomach from that and vomiting of blood, which got me to, the doctors switched it then to ibuprofen. And I continued on that for a long time. I was having my second knee operation when I was 17 years old, and I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, and I was under full anesthesia, and I had a severe asthma attack. And luckily I had amazing doctors. My anesthesiologist was top notch, and he recognized that I was going into an asthma attack and really saved me. And when I came out of anesthesia, I remember the doctor saying, "Why didn't you tell us you have asthma?" And I said, "I don't have asthma." Well, sadly, I spent the next 20 plus years of my life as a severe asthmatic who was frequently sick. I was allergic to everything. Through college, I remember my friends calling me the puffer girl because I could not have my inhaler. In my 30s, I went into a store like Sephora, like a lot of perfumes and a lot of things like that. And I had such a bad reaction that I had to be taken to the hospital for a breathing treatment. Not just to mention that, I just was like, I couldn't go to a friend's house if they had cats. I couldn't wear certain clothes. Everything irritated me. I was just constantly battling something. And this was really kind of some of the start of Sprayology. Like, what the heck is going on? Every time I had a great husband, I had, 2 young children at the time. We were living in San Diego. I had this great life. And I just remember wanting to lay down and put a cloth on my face. I couldn't make it through the day. And it's funny because I can't imagine that person now. It just doesn't seem like who I am, but it really, really was. This was my life, and I didn't feel good on a regular daily basis. And so I started going to the health food store and started learning and started researching, and through partnership with 3 others and founding Sprayology, I started replacing some of the medicines I was taking on a regular basis, including the NSAIDs, the ibuprofen and things, with natural homeopathic products. And that led to one thing and starting to feel better. And I want to say it's been at least 17 years since, I guess we started Sprayology about 21 years ago. I was still using the inhaler. I was still sick a lot, but I was on my healing back. And now I'd say it's been over 17 years since I've used allopathic medicine. I really listen to my body. I consider symptoms data. And so when my body is saying something's a little wrong, I kind of dive in and say, all right, what can I do to switch this? Just to give, and I threw these next pictures in, and they're kind of silly, but here you go. So I gotta click this out here. On the left, so this woman here, me, this was where I'm starting to take better care of myself, but I don't feel good here. I do not feel good. And this is my husband, Mike, and my two sons, Sean and Joe, who are both, now this one's Joe and this one's Sean. My little girl, also Ellie. My mother was Ellie. And I can just tell you, it's at least 17 years between these pictures. These guys are both engaged recently. This is going to be my daughter-in-law, Allie. This person is so much healthier than this person. And I am at least 17 years older. And I feel I look better. I just felt crappy there. So I just thought I'd share that. I don't know what it means, but like when I think about our lives, we have the control to improve them and to feel better. And it's not going to happen for us. We have to be a part of it. I just want to say I am not anti-doctor. I am not anti-medicine. Some of my favorite people are in the medical profession. My two daughter-in-laws to be are both in medicine. I go to my doctor at least annually. I get my blood work. I dive into it. I just really think it's our responsibility to do what we can to be more preventative and more healthy, so that if we do need to go to our doctor and we have something serious, we're a better candidate for effectiveness. The US medical system is not the best at prevention, and I think spa has really helped this. I think before doctors were acknowledging that stress was a health hazard, spa was. We knew it was. What I am I will tell you, is I'm anti subconscious pill popping mentality, which is really something very common in the US. Subconscious, it means of concerning the part of the mind from which one is not fully aware, but which influences one's actions and feelings. When I was researching and learning about my health, being an asthmatic for all those years, I wanted to understand what was going on. And as I dove in, I learned that there is such a thing that is what I had, and it's called aspirin-induced asthma. And it turns out that I wasn't an asthmatic originally. I became an asthmatic because of two conditions together: taking NSAIDs at a regular level on a consistent basis, mixed with a nasal polyp. And those two things together really represent almost, it's estimated possible 20% of the asthmatics. And then for people who are asthmatics, taking NSAIDs like ibuprofen, naproxen, aspirin can make your asthma severe. So I was an asthmatic going to an asthma doctor for 20 plus years, and no one ever told me to not take those products and that they would make my asthma worse. The thing is, there are great asthma medicines, and a lot of asthmatics live very healthy lives. The problem is, as we age, it becomes a health hazard and a health risk to be asthmatic. So if we could reduce people's asthma severity, or we could reduce people's having asthma at all just by not subconsciously taking some pills, we really could prove the health quality of that person's life. So when I say subconscious, I used to play tennis with this group of women. I played at a decent level, at one point. And I would show up on the tennis court, and everybody'd come in with their bags, and the women would stop, open a bottle of ibuprofen, take out 2 or 3 and pop them in their mouth. And I go, "Are you okay?" They look at me like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I'm like, "You sure? Why are you taking those?" And they'd be like, "Well, I don't want to hurt later. I don't want to be sore." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know you're going to be?" It's good to take anti-inflammatories. Everybody calls it vitamin I. The fact of the matter is, when you're telling your body it's not inflamed and it wants to inflame, it doesn't let your body heal itself. So I had tennis elbow, and I ended out in a study at Georgetown Hospital. And because I didn't want to take the cortisone shot, I'm like, what else you got? So the study, you couldn't take any anti-inflammatories, which was fine with me, but they would take your blood, spin it down to your platelets, and then stick it back into the site of pain. And the reason that is in the platelets is what heals your body. But when you're telling your body to not be inflamed, the platelets don't end out there. So you're giving your body mixed messages. And this is really a serious problem in the US. Look at this down here. We are 4.25% of the global population. We take 44% of the global consumption of NSAIDs. We are taking too many of these without conscious choice. We're just doing it out of a bad habit. All right. So I want to give some facts here, because it's not just like crazy little Ellie here from Sprayology talking about these things. There's quite a bit of data. And I know I'm picking on NSAIDs today, but there are, it really is most chemical-based over-the-counter medicines. There's some really great medicines out there. NSAIDs have helped a lot of people. So I am not anti that either. It's really about taking them as recommended and as little as possible. But there was a study, and these I'm going to read from because I want to get them right. But in 2018, NBC News did a report by Boston University. And the news piece was titled titled Americans Are Abusing Over-the-Counter Drugs as Well as Opioids. The study said 20% of Americans are exceeding the recommended dose of NSAIDs on a regular basis. And unlike opioids, which may lead to harder drugs, but they are still raising the risk for serious health problems. You know, again, this is really, it's a great study. The link's here if anybody does want it. But we really are just taking them too much and too frequently. Also a study by NIH, the National Institute of Health. The study, you know, has technical parts to it, but I found it interesting to read. And the bottom line is, it says, ibuprofen and other widely used non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs inhibit antibody production in human cells. It was complicated parts of it, but the conclusion said, by decreasing antibody synthesis, NSAIDs also have the ability to weaken the immune system, which can have serious complications and consequences. So these are just more points for me to kind of share, so we can all learn more about what we're taking or not taking. I recently saw a story on the news that I thought was pretty cool. It was about these two women. They were much younger than me. They were, you know, probably in their, you know, 30s. And it was a feel-good story because they actually found out they were both candidates for kidney donation for each other's spouses, and they worked together. So this was really, you know, how lucky, how fortunate for both of them. But me, I was sitting there and I'm saying, why would their young husbands both need a kidney transplant? And so I started researching a little bit about that, and found this story, and, you know, really, really quite interesting that it says, NSAIDs that are commonly available over the counter for pain relief can increase the risk of sudden kidney failure and progressive kidney damage, according to the National Kidney Foundation. There is recommendations in that study for how much you should take. If you have pain, you really should not be on them for more than 10 days. It should not become a daily habit. And if you have a fever, not more than 3 days. It also suggests increasing, if you do need to take an NSAID, you know, you get an injury or you know, there is a reason, you should increase how much water you're taking to help clean out and to support the kidneys during taking those. And then this last one I'm just going to talk about is, this was from Physicians Weekly, and it said, if overused, NSAIDs can cause great harm to patients. In fact, these drugs are one of the leading causes of hospitalization among patients admitted for adverse or side effects of medication. Elderly people and those with pre-existing heart conditions are more likely to suffer heart damage or strokes from NSAIDs. Older patients are also more at risk for damage to stomach and digestive system. One study found that if NSAIDs caused an escalation in the chance of death from peptic ulcers in the elderly patients, and questioned whether this population at all should use these medicines. So if you have, aging parents, if you're blessed that your parents are still here, please check into what they are taking. But this study concluded there is enough overall evidence that the misuse or overuse of NSAIDs should be considered dangerous. There are many serious conditions caused by or made worse by NSAIDs use. It is critical to raise public awareness of these risks and conduct further research on the topic. Again, these drugs have helped a lot of people, but really it's the overuse that kind of really I'm mostly concerned about. I'm very, moderation in anything. So a little bit about what I believe in and different things. I believe in, we have health consistency and we have unhealthy consistency. And these are like habits we get into in our life. When you start walking and you start walking a little more and a little more, that's a health consistency. An unhealthy consistency could be every day you wake up and you feel a little sore and you pop a couple, ibuprofen. Maybe a health consistency you could transpose for that would be to spend 15 minutes stretching or walking. Getting the body warmed up will ease some of that soreness you might feel. So I just want to get us to think a little differently about everything we put in our bodies. I think, spa does such an amazing job and at really addressing stress and things to help us feel better. And I think today's spa client, that's what she wants. She wants to feel better. She has adopted many positive behaviors and habits over the years, but I talk to a lot of people. When you run a natural medicine company, people tell you all kinds of things. And I always really appreciate people's honesty and talking about it. But a lot of people are like, I'm eating good. I'm doing this well. I just don't feel good. And, I often say, well, what else are you taking? What else is going into your body? What else is going on? And sometimes they just haven't even thought about it. So I think it is time for us to kind of, the conversation it's a very open time for the conversation coming out of COVID. People want to say, what can I do? You know what? There was one study I forgot to mention, but I wonder if it's here. When I just said that, it became important to me. I'll bring it up in a sec. It's actually about a different class of drugs. It's really the PPIs, which is things for indigestion, heartburn, the little purple pill. Those things are supposed to be taken on occasional or short-term use. They're not meant to be taken every day. And they are listed as one of the top 6 causes of sudden kidney failure. Is regular use and kidney disease, chronic kidney disease. So let's think about what we're putting in our body. So back to spa. Sorry, I got a little off track there, but I think our customer is ready to dig deeper and to adopt some new health consistencies like never before. So I think it's time to, when we have an intake form, really look at ways that we can say, how can we help you? And really talk about, subconscious habits and healthy habits, because spa has always worked to offer safer, more holistic solutions. So I think it's really exciting because I do believe spa is the future of health and wellness in our country. And we need it because, we definitely, need to feel better. Sorry, I'm just on my soapbox a little bit. But when I was working to heal myself and to get better, I was attracted to homeopathy. I was going to the health food stores. I was, spending a whole bunch of money, taking all different kinds of things. And I started to really realize, what worked, what didn't work, what was safe, what wasn't safe, what was easy to use, what was hard to use. And that really became the foundation for Sprayology. Homeopathy as a class of drugs is the only branch of natural medicine that's regulated by the FDA. It means that we are held to higher regulatory standards, product claim standards, and testing standards. It's also the second most widely used form of medicine in the world today. What's most practiced here, allopathic medicine, is actually number 4 worldwide. The number 1 considered medicine used worldwide is acupuncture. Isn't that cool? So it's really about, worldwide, like if you go to France, you will see, instead of like a drugstore, saying prescriptions, it will say homeopathy, naturopathy, pharmacy. And when you go in, they really start with the safer and gentle natural choice, which is homeopathy. And what's really exciting is highlighted in yellow. Homeopathy has no side effects or contraindications. And this isn't just Sprayology products that have been around for 20 plus years. This is all of homeopathy, because how homeopathy works is it triggers your body to fix itself versus what you're taking fixing yourself. Just like, think of an allergy shot. They give you a little bit of the allergen time and time again until your body is no longer allergic. That came right from homeopathy. Same as vaccination came back right from homeopathy. But we're not going to do a Sprayology training today. But I am going to do my little picture of Sprayology. It's a great time for wellness and spa. And I think every spa really should have some wellness offerings. We make it really easy. We have some smaller openings that are just a small countertop, our full towers of products. People want to feel better and we help them. Our products are extremely effective. We guarantee them. We stand behind you. We add a layer to your assortment, and we love our customers. We love working with nice people, and we love spa. And in the last 20 years, we have really created easier ways to understand the product and to offer the product to your clients. So that's my little pitch. It's really mostly about listen to what you put in your body and take care of it. So I don't know if I went long or short. Oh, we're good.
No, you did awesome. Your timing is great, and we still have some time to continue the conversation. So if I can go back for a brief moment, one of the things that you said was symptoms or data.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I mean, I'm pretty in tune with what's going on with my body. I'm a full believer. I'm really along the same lines as you, personally speaking, in that allopathic medicine has a place and a purpose, and there are times that we really do need it in order to overcome whatever illness or injury or what have you. However, on a day-to-day basis, if you will, I absolutely believe that homeopathics, naturopathics, essential oils, that type of stuff are all things that are really great for, getting to the root of the issue as opposed to masking it, right? Which is what a lot of, like the NSAIDs, for example, it masks something. It doesn't make it go away. It masks it. But the interesting thing is, can you elaborate, and maybe, I hope you can elaborate a little bit for those that might not be as understanding of those messages that the body is sending,
Yeah.
and what to look for and how to use that as the data for maybe, I guess, finding that alternative to taking care of oneself.
Yeah. It is just like training a muscle. It's kind of like getting in a habit. Like, a sore throat when you wake up one morning that you have a glass of water and it goes away, you probably don't have any data. But if you're waking up with a sore throat every day, what's going on? Maybe you're snoring. Maybe it's nothing to do with your throat. But it's your body is telling you something. If skin changes, are something that we can see, and some of them might come from age. Like I stopped.
Disease. Oh, they're hidden with my makeup. They're hidden.
But
My
they
makeup
might
and
not be
glasses
bad,
are a
though.
wonderful thing. I'm hiding those.
You
No,
look fabulous. Come on.
totally different. Off topic. I digress.
No, but I think it's really about just the habit. Like some things come with some parts of age. Like, I'll be 57 this year. I had 3 knee operations. I had 2 hip injuries. I broke both wrists. I've had a lot of physical trauma to my body. But still, I have to say, when I'm getting up, is that a little stiffness from aging, or is my body telling me something? Really looking at, when I said ways to know your immune system is weak, monitoring a cut, how many colds you have in a year. But it goes further now. I think it's just saying there's time for me. Pretend you're your girlfriend or your mother, and you're worried about her health. How's your mental health? I'm sure we could create a great checklist that, 10 things to ask yourself every week.
I love that idea. Can we do that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh my God, how do I narrow it to 10? Your sex drive tells you something. Your energy level tells you something. Your getting sick tells you something. Like there's these different things. But if you notice them and don't just either mask them by, I'm getting a headache, I'm going to pop a couple NSAIDs. If I get a headache, I go, wonder what's causing that. First thing I do, 90% of headaches are caused by dehydration. I maybe had a little too much wine last night. I'm going to have a couple sips of water. I'm also going to take something in our product line. For me, if I knew I had drank wine, I'm probably going to take the party relief. But, I might be taking the brain power. There's different things. Like I will dive into a formula when I know a symptom, but just listen to your body.
Yeah.
Pretend.
Yeah, it really does tell us a lot, and we're so for those of you that don't know, well, Ellie and I had, spoken last week, caught up a little bit, and we were talking about this whole asthma thing, and how my husband has had asthma his whole life. He's had allergies his whole life, like severe, like used to wake up to like the crusty eyes as a kid, I guess, like long before I knew him. I probably wouldn't have been attracted to that so much. Sorry, Cindy, in case you're watching. But anyways, as an adult, and when we first met, he was very much like, caught a cold or started a cold, would call the doctor and get the Z-Pack. I don't think I've ever been on a Z-Pack, so all I know is those pills look really big. He used to have a lot of sleep issues and was taking Ambien. And boy, do I have some stories for that for another time and not on record. Kind of funny, kind of terrifying at the same time. But obviously the longer, the more years we were together, the more, I guess in a way, influential I have become. I mean, he still has some medicines he needs to take and does take. But ever since he kind of, started to go more on, the homeopathic, naturopathic type of remedies on a day-to-day basis, a lot of those ailments were minimized. Now, not all of them went away completely, but they certainly have been minimized, and he doesn't, he hasn't been on Ambien for years, for example. He loves his valerian and hops from Knipe. Sorry, a different brand, but
No,
he's
okay.
a bather. He loves that. So, that's something that has really helped him. And that's just proof to me, someone that used to just have no problem taking anything to being someone who's much more mindful about what he's taking really proves that, homeopathics and naturopathics, acupuncture, he started doing that. Those are all things that have been around since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Well, think about, I've had this conversation with some other people before because I'm obviously passionate about it. And I have had so many people come up to me and say, you know what, now that I think about it, my asthma is worse when I take ibuprofen. Why has my doctor never told me this? there is a ton of data out there. And part of it is it's big money and all of that. But some of it is, they're focused on bigger things and not as much prevention
Mhm.
as, hey, but it really is, it is serious that we don't realize it. And all of these ingredients can also be in topical products. So I had this conversation with someone else and she said, my father got very sick and it turned out he was taking some of that class of drug internally and he had been prescribed a cream. And he was
Mhm.
only supposed to take the cream for a few days and they kept refilling it and he was using it for months and the levels in his body got so high that he got so sick. So point is, you know, pay attention to what you're putting in your body, pay attention to what you're putting on your body,
Mhm.
and listen to your body.
Yeah.
And we can help you along that journey. I'd love to have your husband for a year on our immunobooster and our
Mhm.
allergies because our allergy formula, our immunobooster bumps up the immune system, but the allergies will work like allergy shots for him. And we could see next year his general allergies lower.
That would
So
be incredible.
yeah, love to hook
Thankfully,
you up.
I'm the one who started to get allergies a little bit when we moved back to
We did our
Colorado. I started to, at age whatever, and I just kind of deal with it and occasionally take, some homeopathics for that. But that would be a very interesting sort of test to see where we are today, where he is today to where he is a year from now would be really cool. He'd be a good test monkey. I'll tell you that for sure.
And I,
Okay.
I want to be respectful of people's time. I could sit and talk all day. And if anyone wants to talk or are there any questions in the chat? Otherwise, I definitely, if anyone wants to, have passionate conversations about health and wellness with me, you can email info@sprayology.com because that's easy to remember. And then we can hook up through there. That will definitely cross my desk. You can also use my email, but I'm just making it easy for people to remember. What else do you want to share? I don't want to, I know I'm such a time on person.
Well, you are so sweet. Anyone, I'm actually looking over on Facebook. We've got some highs, like they glad you're here. This is awesome. Kimberly has really enjoyed the info and your personal story. And I think I would agree with that. I think personal stories move mountains. They really do. It's like people know that they're not alone, and they a lot of times our personal stories are what can really resonate with someone. John's usually good for the convo, but I think he may have joined us from his front desk. So I'm not sure that he's able to, if he's in a moment where he can
No worries.
slip away. But we are at 12:45. This has been amazing. I have put all your information not only in our chat here, but it is on Facebook, it is on Twitter, it will be on Instagram shortly. And of course, anyone can hop on to our website at Rocky Mountain Spa, ASSOC.com, and go look at a replay of this. If you want to, review and, listen in again, or hit pause and kind of read some of that material a little bit further, go do that on our website. It'll be posted by tomorrow under our virtual spotlight series playbacks.
Great.
The other thing is that we have, obviously, Ellie, we'd love to have you come back anytime and talk about, wellness and resiliency, but make sure you guys give her products a try. I'm a firm believer. I know those that are able to make this Zoom call today are firm believers in your product. But reach out to her because she's got some really great additional information. And the other thing I posted, by the way, Ellie, not only in the chat, but also across our social media, are the links to the data and information that you had provided
Okay,
to us as
great.
well. So people can review that, do their own research, and see what really works.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
before we wrap up, so next week we have Oakworks is joining us on our virtual spotlight. That'll be 12 noon Mountain Time. And for those of you that are in and around Utah, perhaps easy access to the Snowbird Resort, we are having our first in-person event of 2021 at the Cliff Lodge and Spa on June 21st. from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you want more information, go check out our website. It's all listed there. And that'll be an upcoming event. So take a look at that among some of the other in-person events we have scheduled. And hopefully we'll see Ellie at a couple of those in some way, shape, or form later on this year. And most definitely, I'm working on you for the Colorado retreat. That'll be really great. So thank you all again for all of your time. We are so grateful for your support, and we look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. Have an awesome week, everyone.
Thank you, Holly, for all you do.
Absolutely.